Okay. Hey, everybody. Thanks for taking the time to jump on this Sunday evening. I'm excited to talk to you about duplication. It's something that I was not great at for a really long time, and then sort of developed systems that were working for me, scripts that were working for me, things that started to work for my team. And so I'm going to share what some of those have been in recent years that have really helped our team and leaders be really successful at getting people started sharing, keeping sharing, posting, having events, that type of stuff, and getting them moving forward, because we all want our team to duplicate our efforts, right? Like we want everybody to do what we're doing. And so I'm going to kind of give you some of the things that we do that hopefully will be helpful for you. If it's a review of information, maybe you'll pull out a couple nuggets of things you can shift or tweak, or things that you haven't done in a while that maybe you'll start doing again or whatever, right? And I'm going to drop a few different examples of verbiage in the chat also. So I'll be able to give you just some examples of the things that we are saying on our team and doing on our team to help people, multiply our efforts and start sharing or keep sharing. So I have a few tips that I want to kind of go over before someone even becomes your potential, because I believe that the duplication piece of it actually starts with how we work and how we run our business before we even make a sale, before we even start a conversation with someone. So I want us to think about some of these questions. Are we talking about the opportunity? Is it something that your audience is familiar with? Or is it a lot of product talk, right? If you find yourself enrolling a lot of product takers or people that want a single product, like they just want the pink drink because they might see you posting a lot of pink drink selfies. So if every 3 days you've got a pink drink selfie, no wonder people are only interested in buying Slim, right? So think about how often you're sharing about the opportunity. That can be what that means for you, the flexibility of it, the perks of it, what makes it different, some business testimony from somebody else, like whatever that means to you, and mix it up all the time. Of course, I recommend that you're sharing about the opportunity at least weekly, like bare minimum, at least each week, you should be touching on the opportunity in some way, shape, or form, whether it's on your feed or in your stories or something, right? So something that's helpful for me, I have, if you know me, I have like reminders on my phone up the wazoo. Okay. I like live by my phone reminders. And if you need a ping to go off every Friday morning that says share about the opportunity today, do it, right? Just set it and forget it. And I have those for all kinds of stuff in my business, but it reminds me to share about that, or Testimony Tuesday, or whatever you want to do, right? Just make it something that is worked into your rhythm and into the schedule of your business. I think that once people see it more often, they're already kind of introduced to the idea, they're warmed up to the idea, they have built some familiarity with it being a thing. So you're sort of planting seeds before these people ever become your potentials. So the idea of it is at least already in their mind. They're aware of it, right? So the more you talk about it, the more you're going to get people who are familiar with it. And so I recommend you really intentionally starting to share about the opportunity more in some way, shape, or fashion, at least on a weekly basis. Okay, now the next thing is, are we showing people and talking about how simple it is to share, how simple it is to have a Plexus business, how easy this opportunity is, how natural it is to share about things we love. Think about it in how you speak in conversations with people and on your social media feeds and in your stories and all of that, and how you talk about it with your potentials and your team. If it sounds like this daunting, heavy business all the time, not everybody wants that, but some fun, $30 bonus for signing up my mom is like pretty cool and really simple, right? So just think about tweaking the ways that you speak about things, sharing all sides of the business and all sides of the opportunity, because not everybody wants to be an entrepreneur and run with the business, but some people might like to have a little bit of extra cash, some coffee money, some date night money. Some people want to cover the cost of their products, whatever that is. Relay the simplicity of it, the ease of it, and that it can be as big or small as you want it to be, right? But this gig can be so lucrative and is so simple, right? There's not a lot to it. Anybody can do this, right? We have all the tools and anybody needs to learn anything, and they're all free to us, right? This is also where I'm going to quickly recommend that you decide a daily business hour or two, and please stick to that. and not be answering messages all of the time, because it gives the impression that you're literally on your phone all day long. And nobody wants that. And you might not realize that when your potential messages you at 4:30 in the morning, and maybe you happen to be up doing something, but like, let her chill for a second. She can wait until your lunch break at 12:30. Okay. Like, unless she's like literally on your website right now about to order the wrong thing, like she can wait. And because it gives them the impression that you are at their beck and call, you are constantly working. Anybody that messages you, you must reply immediately. And I know we get excited, right? If potentials message us and they want info, like we have this adrenaline high, we want to answer them, we want to capitalize on the moment, right? Like strike while the iron's hot, that kind of thing. I totally relate to that. And I understand that. But it's kind of like if you were, well, a boss of a company and people were emailing you all the time. If you started answering their emails at midnight, well, they're going to keep emailing you at the end of the day, knowing that you're going to answer them at midnight. And all of a sudden you've got all these emails coming in after hours because your crew knows that you answer things late at night. And so you've trained your network of people, or you've trained your employees to contact you at like ungodly hours because they're used to you responding at those times. So the same goes for your network and your potentials. I would really decide what those hours look like for you and block that time off and know that this is the time that I'm answering messages, and it's not oddball hours of the day. I mean, if you're like a night shift worker or something, like obviously that's going to look a little bit different for you. But I just want you to know that like if Kelly comes to me and it's 5 a.m. and I answer her at 5:15, and then she messages me 4 days later and it's 9:45 p.m. and I answer her at 10. And then the next day she messages me at 8:45 in the morning and I respond to her at 9 a.m. Like she knows that I'm literally on my phone all day long because I've answered her at all the hours of the day. Okay. So think about that because people don't love the way that looks or sounds to be like attached to your phone all the time. And you and I both know that you can be on your phone as little or as much, or your computer as little or as much as you really want to be, right? It's your choice. So just take a step back and look at how you're kind of presenting that to people. What hours are you working? Okay. Once you get into a conversation with people and you're, talking Plexus with them and you're, going through welcome packs and answering their questions about the products and ingredients and whatever, right? Are you using third-party resources to show information, showing our potentials and team members that they don't have to know everything, okay? If you looked up something on an info sheet, I would recommend you sending the info sheet or sending a screenshot of the info sheet with a link to the full thing, saying, we have these about every product, here's the answer to your question, or here's a video about it, or here's a post I can tag you in, or here's a graphic we have of this, right? I would really recommend you not asking someone a question and then answering your potential or whatever, this long string of information that maybe you just learned and you didn't know, because it sounds like you had to have that committed to memory to know that information, right? So they might think, I don't know that. There's no way I could share about these products. I don't know what she knows. But if you're using and plugging them into third-party resources, whether it might be an online event group that was, way long gone from 2 months ago, but it's got this really great post about Plexus in pregnancy that you can tag them in. Great. It exists somewhere else that's outside of your brain. So it's more duplicatable that way. So think about that when people are asking you questions. Try to use a third-party resource if at all possible. Even sometimes when I go ask about people who have experiences with certain products, or if they ask about a certain medical condition and they want to know how people do with these products that have this, even if I go find something in our team chat or another testimony or whatever, I will be very open with the fact that I did not know that information. I had to go find that for them. This is a testimony or two that I found, or I asked a teammate, that has that same, ailment or whatever, right? I'll give the kind of the background of it so that they know it's okay for me to not know things. And so they don't need to know everything. All right. So always be honest about that. Not that you're trying to hide it. I don't think any of us are trying to hide that. We're trying to go find an answer and come back and answer the question, right? But just know that if you can let them in on the fact that we don't know all the things about all the things, it's much more achievable for them to see themselves doing what we do, knowing that they have access to all of those resources also, and they can be plugged into those as well. And knowing that you're not the expert also makes them feel like you're more on a level playing field, right? Nobody needs to know more than anybody else. So once someone has joined your team, we want to talk about how we're going to help them share, right? I have two strategies that work very, very well for myself and my team. Obviously, not every single person I speak to starts sharing. Okay. I have just found what works for the people I enroll, the way I speak. I use scripts that are really working with the way that I speak, and the cadence at which I present these things. So it happens to be working for us. Maybe if you can take, a grain from this and start doing it, maybe a little bit of it'll work for you too. But right after someone joins, the first thing I do is make sure they get added into our team page. And I tag them in a couple things, right? So I'm giving them that value, right? So they just paid me, right? They just paid for something. So let's turn around, they get them added to the team page. Let's tag them in some relevant information, ask them about their, their lifestyle, their routine, make sure they're prepped and they've got a water bottle that they love, all that stuff, right? Like you're really pouring into them, giving them value. Then I ask them basically who they know that can do this with them, because I'm going to be there virtually for them to coach them and walk alongside them. But I would like someone that's like face-to-face with them all the time. A coworker, a husband, a sister, a whatever, babysitter, whatever that is. I'm going to drop this script in the chat, but it's literally right after I get them in the team page. Okay, that script. So it says, alrighty, you're in. I am so excited for you. I do always help everyone find at least one person to be their accountability partner in Plexus. Maybe think of someone who is close to you and can help you stay on track. Lots of times people have a husband, sibling, mom, BFF, etc. Join them. Not only will they be a good Plexus buddy for you, but you will also earn about $30 for referring them. If you have 3 friends join, just like you joined me, you'll get about $300. Do you have some people I could help you give some info to see if they'd like to do this with you? That is a simple script I send to every single person that enrolls. So right off the bat, they're getting exposure to this, right? They know that one person is going to earn them like $30. They know that if they enroll 3 people, they're going to make a few $100s. They know that it's a possibility, right? So I'm not holding it in until I feel like they're ready. I'm like, here, take it or leave it. I want you to be successful. I want you to have an accountability partner. I would love for you to have more money too, right? So every single person gets asked this question. Now, if they say they have somebody like my husband or my mom or whatever, I immediately see if I can get them in a 3-way chat. I don't really let things go much further until I can get contact with that person. Great. Can we get them on the phone? Can we get them in a 3-way chat? Like, do you know what interest they might have in Plexus products or something? And we can all get together and I can prepare some appropriate information for them. I get that going immediately, or get a sample off to them if possible, which usually requires connection because I need to get their address and all that. If they think that they've got, a few people, or I kind of get the vibe that like, oh yeah, I think I might have a few people who could be interested. Like I've had people say that, like just kind of vague. Yeah, I have a couple handful of like coworkers who might like to do this with me. Like, great. I ask about having an online event immediately. And I'll talk about a little bit later about why I really believe those are like biggest bang for your buck right off the bat. Okay. So many people are going to say, they want to try the products first. They want experience. They want to have testimony first before they say anything. Listen, I honor that. I honor the uncertainty. I honor the hesitancy. I totally respect that. I will never try to talk someone out of something, right? I'm here to guide them and help them. And I totally believe that most of us were probably not coming here for the business, right? We started loving the products and then we started sharing. A lot of us fall into that boat. Okay. So we have to understand that, and we need to not get discouraged if we ask people to share and they're like, no, like, I don't think that most of us like posted the first day we bought our products. Okay. So we just need to be sensitive to that and not get sad about that like every person I enroll is just not going silver tomorrow. Like, no, duh, they're not going to do that. Okay. So lower the expectation there. However, here is a paragraph that I have been using for that objection of I need to have my own results, or I want to, have experience first. This is something I've used, and for me, it has worked very well. And I'm going to put it in the chat. And at the end of this, I've even asked them, I feel them out, but I may have asked them like, what if I wrote a post for you? Would you put it up? Or what if we had a little private event? Would you ever consider doing that in the future? And I've had some people say yes after this script. So I'm going to send you this now. Okay. I can totally see how it would feel like you would need to have your own results and experience, but really that's not necessary. There are so many people with different needs, and yours are probably not going to be identical to anyone else's. So just seeing the information about what the products can do can be really helpful for them. For example, I don't have anxiety, but when I told some of my friends about Plexus Vital Biome and how it can help anxiety, They wanted to give it a try, and it has really worked wonders for them, which is so great to see. Everyone's experience is unique, and I found that it's beneficial to bring others along on this journey with us. It's like trying out a new restaurant together. So as you're getting started in Plexus, I would urge you to think about how you can talk about your journey with friends or family, or post about it on Facebook. You may be surprised at who would be excited to do this with you. I just realized excited has a typo in it, but so I'm not trying to discount their feelings, right? I'm not trying to force them to do anything. I'm just saying, really consider giving an invitation to the people around you, because it could be really helpful, and not everyone's needs are going to be the same as your needs. Not everyone is like a postpartum mom trying to lose baby weight, right? That's not everybody not everybody fits that bill. Okay. So I just kind of let them marinate on that, because it's something to think about, right? That like, oh yeah, that's true. I could talk about, gut health or something, even though I really joined for weight loss, but like my mom has IBS. So maybe I should tell her about that. Just kind of gets them thinking about other people and other people's needs. Takes the focus off of them a little bit. But next, I just really focus on giving them outstanding customer service. My work is not considered done until I have helped them achieve the results that they trusted me to guide them to. The sale is not the end of the conversation, okay? My goal is to guide them all the way into becoming a Plexus lifer. So a couple months in, when they're seeing results, this is when I kind of come full circle and bring up sharing again, but in a different way. I ask them if they're open to having an online event. Now, I'll share my script in a moment for how I ask people that are like between the 60 and 90 day mark. Because once they're at the 60 or 90 day mark, we all know that's kind of where the magic starts happening, right? You've worked them through detox. They have kind of honed in on a routine that fits with their schedule. If they've been consistent, they're starting to see some wonderful results almost all the time, unless it's a unique kind of outlier case. But usually when you have someone is in the 2 to 3 months zone, they're feeling great and they're starting to see really awesome results. And the domino effect is starting to happen, right? But I would love to share with you why I think an online event as a first sharing activity, as opposed to a post, is maybe a better bang for your buck. So an event is going to allow you to educate a huge group of people who have told you they are interested all at one time. Okay. So the likelihood of your level 1 getting a quicker win from an event is much higher than a single post, which we all know has an unknown visibility rate in our network, right? You have no idea how many friends they are. Are they even on social media? Are they ever engaging other people's content? Is this post even going to show up in anyone's feed? They're going to muster up this courage and they're going to like, okay, I'm going to do it. And they're going to push post and then no one's going to see it, right? But if we can use that same courage and excitement to get the people corralled who said, yes, add me to that page, and give them the information that they're wanting, the success rate is going to be much higher. Okay. And I like how events also act as a training opportunity for your level 1s. So they'll actually feel more confident talking about the products. And as they see that information, they might think of other people who the products could help. I've had several people have the event, and then later on they're adding people to it and tagging their, members of their family in it, because they're like, oh, I saw this. Like I got the weight loss essentials or weight loss advanced package, but now I'm seeing, oh my gosh, we have kids products. I didn't even know that. I'm going to tag my Aunt Susie because, whatever. Right. I've seen people go and use their event as this adding and tagging group later on. And it just lives on because it's got this simplified set of posts of information in there, and it's theirs that they own. They can do whatever they want with it because it's their event group. So people just do really well with that. And sure, some events are a total bust, right? It happens to me. But it's worth a shot, because I'd rather have someone get buy-in from a set of people that they personally contacted that said, yes, I am open to hearing about Plexus. I'd rather that situation be a bust for them than them, me trying to talk them into posting and like hyping them up, and they post and just the total thing falls flat. Like their faith in the opportunity would just be squashed. But at least if you're doing an event, they're immediately getting buy-in from people and adding them to the event, right? So you've got some follow-up power there, and you've got the ability to maybe go send people samples or whatever. Like there's some kind of like after market opportunity there. So I'm going to drop the script that I send to people between 2 and 3 months when they're seeing great results, to ask them if they would like to have an online event. I'm going to put this in the chat right now. Okay. Hey, Sarah, how was your weekend? I know you have been loving your plexus lately. Would you ever be interested in me hosting an online info event for you and your friends and family to learn more about plexus? It would be great to see if anyone might like to jump in and try it with you. I'll give away a trial pack too. That would be so fun for someone to win. And it's wonderful because not only will you have some accountability buddies to do this with, you'll make a kickback from each person's sign up, and you have the ability to make over $300 this month by just finding 3 people who want to join you. So fun. What do you think? So very relaxed, right? They can be like, nah, it's not really my gig. I've had people do that too. I have a lot of people who are like, oh yeah, sure. Because they feel like they've seen team page information and they kind of know stuff now. They sort of know how the products work and what they do. They're familiar with taking them and they're feeling good. So they've got a little bit of buy-in. So that's a really great invitation to use. I have 2 events in the works for the next couple of weeks using this exact same system that people I enrolled at the end of the summertime. So it really, really works well to remember to circle back. And I like to write this time in my planner. If you guys know me, you know I have a paper planner. So whenever somebody enrolls, like the last person I enrolled, I'll flip forward like 2 months and write in, ask Nicole about online event in my planner. So I remember that to go back and be like, okay, this girl's still around. I need to ask her about having an online event. Sure, some are going to say yes, some are going to say no, but I find that when I intentionally get people to that 60-day mark with their products and they're seeing results, and I have spent the time with them to really work with them, they're much more open to having an info event about plexus. I just see a much higher success rate on that. And I won't go into like how to have an event and all that. So ask your sponsor, you'll drill upline for guidance there if you need it, because we've got a lot of tips and tools and resources for how to do that. But these events will also give you a glimpse into your level 1's level of influence in their network, their ability to follow directions. Okay. I've had people say, yeah, sure, I want to have an event. And then they're like gone. They like ghost me for 3 weeks. And I'm like, hey, are we still doing that? Oh yeah, let's do that. I'm like, great. Why don't you go make a list of like 25 people to invite? And then I'm going to message you on Friday and I'll give you the invite message if you got your list ready. Friday comes and I'm like, hey, did you make your invite list? Oh no, busy week. I totally forgot. And I'm like, okay, so this is like kind of a waste of my time, right? I value my time as a business person. They're like, I love your excitement, but like, I'm not going to roll with that. Okay. I'm going to go to the people that are like following directions and doing the things. So it kind of like lets you know where they stand anyway. And later on, if they want to take you up on that offer, fantastic. But if they're going to be flighty, I'm not going to work with that because my time is money. Okay. But they'll also kind of give you the event will kind of give you a glimpse into their openness to continue sharing too. If you get them some wins from that event by enrolling some customers under them and stuff, you can ask them if they'd be open to maybe you helping them continue to post about plexus and achieve a specific bonus. Maybe they're 1 away from silver. Maybe they'd enrolled 6 people and they're only 3 away from senior silver, right? Or talk to them about, the plexus opportunity. You're really good at this. You have a lot of influence. People really trust you. Your network seems really receptive. What are your thoughts on me helping you continue with this? Because I think you could be really, really great at this. You've got what it takes and you follow directions really well. You're really coachable and your network is just really, really receptive to what we have here and seems to really need it. So you can have that conversation. And that all kind of sprouts from this online event situation, right? And kind of remember that their openness to share will be affected by their familiarity with the opportunity, right? So if you're talking about it regularly, how simple it is, you've made it look super easy by using third-party, resources. Even once you have this online event, you get these people into 3-way chats afterwards. They're watching you have these conversations and enroll people, right? They're literally getting trained on the job. Most of them notice that 99% of the conversations they have with all of their friends are exactly like the one you had with them when they enrolled. They're like, oh, I know how to do this. Like it happened to me. And I literally just watched it happen with 5 people in a chat. Okay. So they start to get really good about doing it themselves because they've watched it happen. And now you're in 3-way chats with these people. And guess what happens? The level 2 enrolls with my new level 1 girl. And I'm in there saying, hey, who do you know who could do this with you? I'd love for you to have an accountability partner. And the ball keeps rolling, right? So I'm all up in there, whereas they maybe aren't familiar with that procedure yet, right? They're brand new. They're not in the opportunity, but I can be the person to ask them and have this secondary person sharing and enrolling, mom, dad, husband, sister, friend, And, oh, guess what? Your girl just went silver. How awesome is that? And you kind of, burn it from the bottom up, and you start this fire under this team of people, and they're like, oh, this is sweet. Like, I just made a couple $100. This is awesome. I barely did anything. Right. So that's kind of how that kind of takes off and starts happening. And you can taproot through those people, because having this event basically hands you their entire like network on a platter, right? You're like, here, let me foster this network for you. Let me sample with these people. Let me three-way chat with these people, let me follow up and kind of show them how it's done. And they're getting training without even realize they're getting trained. But you got to show them how simple it is. You can't really have like random conversations with everyone. Every single conversation looks different. Okay. We've got like sample scripts on purpose because, yes, change words to make them sound like you. But if you are making it look hard, the odds of someone thinking they can also do what you do is pretty slim. So remember that. Present the opportunity often, talk about it with your network, present it to your new people. And then when you really get in there, make sure that you have a system that takes out like the human error part of it and makes it look more approachable. So I have someone on my team who is doing an incredible job at duplication. Her name is Carrie Thomas. I'm sure you have seen her. Some of you have met her. She's amazing. And she and I have worked really hard on systems like this because her team is growing very rapidly. She's a new Ruby ambassador that already earned Leaders Retreat. She is just killing it. And so I said, Carrie, I would love for you to come on and give me some thoughts or tips or like leadership takeaways or even mindset stuff, right? Like, how are you feeling with this rapidly growing team? And you guys, we were all about the online events. We were all about the three-way chats. We were all about asking every single person to find one person, and imagine if every person you enrolled, it was duplicated by one, it was doubled, right? Because they just grabbed their sister to do it with them. That kind of growth is so exponential when you're asking every single one of those people to also find one, right? So we don't need to be so heavy on the go silver, go silver, go silver, although I love that. And I would totally be all for that. That is going to be a unique circumstance. That's going to allow a fast start silver situation to happen, right? So Carrie and I worked really hard to hone in a system of duplication as her team grew super fast and is still growing really fast. And she's fostering and growing these great leaders. So I messaged her and asked her to come on. She's in Jamaica. She's in Jamaica right now. And so I was like, okay, it's fine. And she's like, no, I'll write up something for you because I have some thoughts about how, she didn't really see herself as this leader before, kind of had to find her own as the leader of a large team. And what does this mean? How do I become a leader? Am I worthy of leading other people? What does that look like? What type of confidence do I need to have, right? Because your posture presenting all of this stuff can make or break the decision, right? If you're kind of weary about it and unsure and kind of, slouchy and, is it something you might want to do? I don't know. You don't have to post if you don't want to. You don't have to have an event if you don't want to. If it's not your thing, don't worry, we won't do it. Okay, guys, you're like backpedaling and digging yourself a hole. Okay. So you got to watch the way you present things and watch your posture there. And so Carrie and I really worked on a lot of those things. And so she wrote this little kind of letter, and I love it. I'm going to read it for you because it is just fantastic. And I love seeing how her mind works and how it has transformed into being such an incredible leader, because I know some of you might have said this. I said this when I was first starting, and she said this to me. I don't know if I could do what you do. I don't know if I could do that. I don't know if I'm capable of having a team that big. I don't know. And so we kind of self-sabotage, and we don't even present the opportunity to people because we don't think we're good enough to be a leader. And we need to throw away that garbage right now, because nobody on this call knew anything about what we were doing until we just started doing it. Okay. So we all just figured it out. So if you're thinking, I don't know, can't do what Allie does, I can't do what Jody does, I can't do what Cassie does, I can't do what Kelly does, like I'm not them. Guess what? None of us are anything like our uplines, right? We're all completely different. We watched a crap ton of YouTube videos and sent some really horrible messages to people that probably didn't work very well. And then we figured out what started to work, right? And then you kind of just learn as you go. So Carrie was so kind enough to send me some thoughts regarding her massive growth and leadership takeaways and all of that. And I know you'll find it inspiring. So I wanted to close this out by sharing her letter with you. So I'm going to open it and read it. Okay. She says, we all have experienced some poor leadership situations or have also been blessed by leaders that we will always remember and have impacted our lives in deep and meaningful ways. And she quoted Will Smith, which I love. There's no such thing as business. Everything is personal. And that's how we need to interact with the people that we lead. We need to remember that they're people and we need to treat them as such, not like a number. We also have to have a thick skin and not take anything personally. Like if they don't want to post tomorrow, right? It's okay. It's nothing against you. But just as your happiness is your choice, so is being a positive leader. And a huge part of leadership is a desire for everyone to succeed, wanting not just to be right, but to be better, right? To improve. And we're going to grow people and grow our team by not only offering our knowledge and insight and experience, but by encouraging them to develop their own, right? Which is kind of like how we hand off third-party resources, like here, look, empowerment, right? You have to have an honest, humble desire to truly know the people that are going to trust you to lead them. Believe me, if people feel like a number, they're not going to want to build a relationship with you. I strongly believe in humility, and it's one trait more than any other that will make or break a team and a leader. Never, ever blame anyone or anything when things don't go to plan. It could be something small, a missed email, a meeting, or a missed call, or something big like falling short on a massive goal. A leader has to have broad, strong shoulders and be confident enough to accept responsibility for their business. Ouch, right? Always ask questions. Always ask for feedback. Adjust and do better next time. You're like a cheerleader. You're the one out front, leading, setting the example consistently. Always walk the talk. Be clear and consistent, be fair and honest, and embody the person you need your team to be. We can also all have a great week, a great month, a great quarter, and expect that to now be our new standard. And this is a form of cognitive bias that all our brains are wired to fall victim to. We quickly forget the months of work and the no's it took to get there. What we have to realize and remember is it was because all of that work that we were able to capitalize on an opportunity and grab hold of the momentum and make it work for us. The consistent effort over time compounds. Any professional athlete is going to have off days, weeks, and seasons. They don't make the shot or hit the home run every single time. This does not mean that they stop doing all the things that got them where they are. We have to understand that there are seasons to this business and that success is never guaranteed. It is something just like happiness. You have to pursue it new every day. Success comes from being prepared when an opportunity presents itself. Success is the fruition of the grind, doing the right things day in and day out. Believe in yourself, have faith that opportunity and success will come if you continue to put in the work, and seek out support and mentorship during the challenging seasons. They are huge opportunities for growth and expansion. Remember that you have amazing leaders behind you that are cheering you on and whose main goal is just to help you succeed. Isn't that so good, you guys? Like, I wish she was here. I feel like, go Carrie. Anyway, tell her that you loved hearing from her because she's like literally on a plane right now, I think. And I just love that. Like, I love that because I have personally watched her transformation from not sure about presenting the business. Nobody wants this. My team is not interested. I have a hard time, bringing this up to my friends, to confident leader, killing it, raising leaders, duplicating like nobody's business. So I want you to know that that kind of activity is possible for you. She had an absolutely amazing past, like 8 or 9 months that her like business has just taken off. And so much of that is due to her mindset going into conversations like this. I can give you all the scripts in the world, but you must have the confidence and the backbone and the mindset and the belief to actually execute to allow for this growth to happen on your team. So that is all I have for tonight. If you have any questions or anything, drop them in the chat. This is recorded. I drop the scripts in the chat, but if you want me to drop the scripts later with the recording or something in the group, I can absolutely do that for you. But thank you guys for hopping on, and I hope this was really helpful. And I hope maybe you'll let us know which pieces of this you're taking out and using for your team. So love you guys. Have an awesome evening, and I'll see you again soon.